we've got to understand, especially if you're a new agent watching, you've got to understand that, this is a...
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Agent Secrets show. Today we've got Rupesh Patel with us. He's been in the industry for 12 years, moved from sunny England to sunny South Carolina. Over the last 12 years, sold 1,200 plus homes, and in 2021, sold 160 homes, did about 40 million in volume. It's him with a small team. So Rupesh, thank you for coming on the show, agreeing to come on the show and share your secrets to success. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, boys. I'm really excited to share some nuggets. And I don't know about England being sunny, but it's definitely, I think, got sunnier since I've left.
I can tell that Andrew's excited for this one because he's got a fellow Brit on with us today. So you guys were shooting the shit a little bit right before the show. We started diving into your little bit of a backstory, but we told you, hold on, pump the brakes. We need the audience to hear it. So to give everybody a little bit of context, take us back to like day one of how you started in real estate and how the hell do you go from zero to selling 1,200 homes in the last 12 years?
Yeah, I mean, thanks again for bringing me on the show, Pete, and be happy to share that. So, as I was mentioning before we got on the call, my family moved over from England, and at the time I was working for a company called Equifax, and I was working a corporate job, moved here, trying to figure out what to do, got bought on by another company called Experian, which I'm sure you've heard of, another credit bureau. And then I had another position that I was moving on to in the corporate world. And what happened was, in 2007 was when the economy tanked. So this company was actually going on a hiring freeze, and nobody knew what was going on. And then, just to kind of give you the short version, I had an unexpected, child coming into the world, was used to a six-figure salary, and now I've got all these bills coming in, and I'm thinking, gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to put nappies on this little kid that's going to come? How can I give it the best life possible? So I took the bold decision of getting my real estate license. I remember it to this day. It was like on a Sunday evening. I was at an Indian wedding, as you know. They're pretty lengthy weddings, and then that morning, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go and sign up for that real estate class. And then I rushed down there. And fortunately, they had a spot for me. So I got into real estate as a part-time agent. And, I had another side gig, which I was getting a petty, I think it was like $700-800 a month from. And I was just tied to that check. And, so I kept that. And then I was like, let me try real estate. And a lot of people were telling me, is that the smartest thing to do? Because they saw what was going on in the economy and the way the market was tanking. And, I just kind of put the blinds on and decided to go into it. And, as a part-time agent, I sold 15 homes. And then, what I thought, well, if I did this full-time, I could just double it, right? If you do 6 months and you sell 15 homes, I can do 30 homes, working 12 months. So the week my daughter was born, I had 3 homes that were under contract, and I made the decision. I was like, you know what, I can either stay there and keep getting that $700 check, which I was really attached to. I remember actually calling the hiring sign outside the brokerage that I applied to be an agent. I asked them how much the base salary was, and they said, well, it's all commission, and I hung up the phone. So when I took that decision, I was like, you know what, I can do this. So I had 3 closings lined up, and then I quit the job, went full time and then that first full year, I sold 38 homes, and and then afterwards it was like 60 homes, 75 homes. And this is like without an assistant. And, so that's how I got started in the business. I mean, there were some challenges along the way, no doubt. There's definitely a lot of tests that we go through. And then as I got more into the business, I was always kind of anti-team, where, I thought I was going to be the one-off guy that was going to be able to do everything and sell homes at a high level. And then I realized, you have so much time in the day, and I was a little bit younger then. So as you get older, obviously you don't want to be doing that all the time. So you could probably appreciate this. I have I've always played football throughout my life. So in uni, when I went to uni in Liverpool, John Moores, I never played on a team. I always had a team. So that's when I started to go, well, maybe that's the next step for me. Obviously, I'm good at building teams in the football world because I've always attracted a lot of talent, and people always stay on the team, and we always get great results. So that's I started the team the team process because I felt like there was a need for me to help a lot of these agents who are getting into this business, and I saw what the failure rate was in real estate. I think they say it's 98%, and I thought, well, I want to fix that, and in turn, give something back to the people, who are on my team, and help them be successful so they can take care of their families. So that's the journey that I've been on, and that's how I got in real estate.
So I got a question right out the gate for you, because it is unusual for anybody to come in and first year in the business, they do 38 deals, right? The usual story is like people come in, maybe they do like 4 deals, maybe they do 12 deals. So Rupesh, help us understand, how the hell did you do 38 deals? Where did they come from? What did that grind look like? What were you doing? Were they all at once? Were they throughout the year? Because I want to know, as a first-year agent, I'm far off the number 38, which means I either got catching up to do, or I got to become Superman, Batman, Captain America, and LL to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, and I'm going to go into a little bit about some of the things that we did, but just the simplest thing. I mean, it's with anything in life, just show up. I mean, when and that's what the secret sauce on its own. If you just showed up every single day, worked the real estate position as if it was a job. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was there showing up like I had a job, even though I didn't have any buyers or sellers. I was showing up, and there was opportunities that were being presented to me because of the consistency of the fact that I was showing up every single day at the brokerage that I was at. I remember vividly would be at the brokerage, and when you have like floor time, you have to qualify to take floor time, which is the inbound calls that agents get to have. Well, there would be an agent that earned the right to be on floor time, and they'd be missing in action. And then the receptionist, because she saw me there every single day, she would go, "Hey, do you want to take this phone call?" Because that's solving a problem for her, because she doesn't want this buyer on her. When's the agent going to call? So I would take a call, follow up with those people. And, that's how I really started, starting to understand that, all these agents that are in the brokerage office, they're actually not doing a lot because they're not there a lot. So, that's just one thing that got me started. I treated it seriously. I showed up every single day. And even if I had nothing to do, I would be at the office at the working time that you would be if you had a normal working job. So, if you're an agent, commit, show up. If you just show up, as I said, show up to blow up.
I love it. And like when you were showing up, what were some of the activities that you were doing? Because you weren't just like, I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong, you weren't just like coming to the office, sitting down at your desk if you had an assigned desk or whatever that looked like. And we're like, okay, cool, I'm here. What's happening, guys?
In the beginning, it was rough. Okay. And, if anybody from my brokerage is watching, I mean, they bring you in, and this is the brokerage model, right? They bring you in, they show you the fancy sign, and they basically say, yeah, you know what, we're great, we're number one, we're this, we're that. And then you get to the office and they go, great, let us know if you need anything. And then they don't actually teach you, how to fish. They don't show you where the fish are. They don't teach you that because they're in the agent account model, right? They got to keep recruiting more agents, and they hope that the 80-20 rule sticks and 20% of them make it. So a lot of the time in the beginning, I was just showing up, and I was actually I was thinking all these agents that were at the office were actually doing something. And then I started getting smart. I'm going, man, these guys are actually not doing it. So what are they actually doing? And then there'd be an agent on call, and she didn't even know how to answer the phone call because, and it just baffled me that she didn't know how to even answer the phone, and she's on floor time. So, long story short, I went through that pain, and then, by showing up, I was doing some deals, but I knew that I wanted more. I wanted to, I remember going to a first, it was a Century 21 event, and I'm like, I don't know if you know anything about Century 21, but you see those, you get these Centurion Awards, and I'm actually looking at a couple over here, actually, but these are things like an Oscar. And I remember seeing these people walk across the stage. I was at a conference, and I was seeing these people walk across the stage, and I was like, wow, I want to be able to do that. And then I set a goal. The next year, I got the Centurion Award, which is what Century 21 gives for, I think it was, they change it from 50 to 60 units a year, and I was able to hit it. So back to your original question of, okay, what were the activities that I was doing was, I wasn't doing any activities until I actually went to that event. And then I started to kind of learn what these people on stage were doing. I remember I was in New Orleans. That's where I was at. And I always, tend to bump into, the right people at the right time. And I remember asking these people, like, you'd be at the roulette table, or you're having a few drinks, as you do. And I asked them, hey, what's the secret? What I got from all these people was, they're active people. They get on the phone, they prospect, they lead follow. They're spending 3 hours every single morning doing the things a sales agent should do, which is communicate with potential buyers and sellers. So that's when I was like, wow, this is what I'm going to do. So I went back to my brokerage, and then, decided I was going to now start prospecting 3 hours a day. And, in the brokerage that I was at, that was like a foreign concept. Like nobody was even coming in to the office till probably 9 o'clock. And by that time it was too late. So just getting some habits on a daily basis of spending my first 3 hours of the morning from 8 until 11, not 9 till 12, 8 to 11, being on the phone, being active, and following that 80-20 rule, like, 20% of my time is going to get me 80% of the results, which, obviously we know it did.
So I think a lot of this ties into actually your first topic, right? Which is actually what I want to dive into, because I feel like all of this really comes down to you switched and pivoted, or you also definitely had a good mindset, which is your first topic. So I want you to dive in and unpack why mindset has been one of your secrets.
Yeah, mindset is like the biggest thing, especially if you're a new agent, you come on to our team. It's very easy what we have to do, but what happens is we get into this, we have this limited belief, right? So, it's like what, I don't know if you follow Tony Robbins or not, but he always says 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. So it's very easy to do what we need to do, but then why are we not doing it? So, there's the other famous Henry Ford script I always go to is whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And so, we've got to think it, and we've got to get into that right mindset, because if, nobody's going to do that for you. And like, some other notes I put, our thoughts become our feelings become our actions, and our actions become our results. So if we're not thinking those things, if our thoughts aren't right, if our feelings aren't right, it's not going to get you to act to do the things that you need to do, which, the action is what gets you to the results, right? So, we've got to be investing every single day in our mindset and making sure that we're believing in ourselves, because, nobody else is going to believe in you. They can keep telling you they believe in you, but we've got to do the work. So mindset's been, one of the biggest things for me. And one of the things that I shifted early on when it came to mindset is just really understanding that, I've got to change. So if I want to be the guy on stage, or if I want to be, whoever it is that I want to be, I've got to change who I want. I've got to change that image of who I've got to start walking, talking just like those people, right? That famous Jim Rohn quote, for things to change, you have to change. And most people aren't willing to change. They got that story going on, and they got that negative vibe, that negative mindset, which gives you negative feelings, which gives you no action and no results. So that's why mindset for me, it's huge. And like we've got to understand, especially if you're a new agent watching, you've got to understand that this is a journey, and this is you're going to learn some lessons, and those lessons is going to be what's going to enable you to grow. It's just like a little kid. If you're born, I mean, you can't just go walk and eat and talk and listen. You're kind of just like all over the place, right? And then you're sleeping most of the time to begin with. And, it's baby steps, right? But then you've got to embrace and have the right mindset to know that it's a learning and a path that we're on.
What are some of the tools that you're using currently for your mindset? Like, are you listening to podcasts? Are you watching some motivational videos? Are you reading books? Do you have like a routine? Take us a little bit through like what's in your toolbox to make sure that you are on top of your game every day when it comes to your mindset.
So one of the things I learned early on, like I really took a look at what I was doing when I first started. Like I remember I used to get up at 7:00, 7:30. I would go grab a coffee, and then about 8:30ish, I would go to the office. Right, so I'm already, in that world, in this world today, that would never happen. Right, so I read a book. I don't know if you read this book or not, but I somehow got onto this. I listened to this guy speak, and his name's Hal Elrod, and he wrote The Miracle Morning. Have you read that book? So, he says in his book, he's like, this is where he came from, this is what happened, and this is the result. So I'm like, you know what? And then I somehow started getting some, more reading into like successful people get up at 5:00 in the morning. So I'm like, all right, well, let me try this. But instead of going straight to 5, I said, well, let me dial it back to 6. Let me start there and let me start doing those things that they talk about doing. Let's get up and let's have some silence. Let's read, some books. I'm not a huge reader. I was terrible at school, but now, I mean, I'm like the best student ever. I mean, I would stop. It's probably doing it too much, right? So one of the things I picked up early was like, we got to turn the radio off and the news off, right? If you really think about it, the news, I mean, what is it full of? It's, negative news, right? So I've got to look at that and go, you know what, do I really want to live in their story or do I want to create my own story? So I decided I was going to turn the radio off and I was going to stop looking at the news. And instead, what I did was I started to listen to, podcasts, listening to, agent interviews. If you want to build your mindset and you want to learn how agents are doing it, listen to how they did it, kind of what we're doing now, and then understand that everybody had the same start and everybody is on a path, and just start thinking that it's possible and it's also possible for me. So I used to ultimately think, it's just time in the business, or they've got this, and this. Sometimes it was like, they're doing that amount because they've got so many team members. So what have I got to do? I've got to hire so many team members. So, so things that you do daily is like, your workouts, listening to podcasts in the car, getting to events, reading books, and being a student. Because basically, personal growth is where it all starts, right? And if we can change and learn, if we can learn more about ourselves, we can start changing the results that we get. So that's what I recommend doing, is making sure that you're not listening to radio, making sure you're turning off people that are not inspiring you, and get around people who are big thinkers.
One of the things about mindset is a lot of people, I think mindset is a lot to do with self-awareness. Like, it's like understanding that you're not there and like having the humility to admit that, right? And then from that humility, you can rise. It's like going, okay, like I'm not that top producer. I want to be, but I'm not there. And that's okay because I've just started. Or, and if you've been in it 10 years, it's like, it's also okay. Everyone's journey is different. That humility, it takes a lot. Self-awareness is hard, and humility is a real bitter pill. In the world of real estate, as amazing as this is, it's probably one of the most egotistical niches in the whole world, in my opinion. Like, it is out of control how egotistical people can be. And ultimately, it's to their own detriment. Like, it only hurts them. It literally never helps. And, I think the thing with mindset as well is it definitely isn't quote unquote, air quote, cool. It definitely isn't. It's one of the things that just isn't cool. And I think that a lot of it is seen as somewhat as taboo, might be the right word to describe it. It's the same as like, I feel like, say, a couple of generations ago, going to a therapist was like, you would never tell anyone that now. Where now I feel like that's opened, the whole world's opened up more to that fact that like, actually it's good for you just to kind of speak out. I feel like that's the same evolution, the same evolutionary path like mindset coaching has taken on. And I definitely feel like in business now, I have those conversations all the time with people who have mindset or business coaches, and it's like just helping them frame situations. Listen, if you're not where you want to go and someone else is, let's figure something out you haven't. Go fucking speak to them. Like, have a bit of humility, swallow your pride, and like go out there. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our course and coaching programs, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.